In this video, I'll show you how the table builder works within the Styles section of Advisor Logic. First, go to your profile, then to Theme, and select Table Builder. In the area below, you will see the various tables that you have to work with within Product Recs. So these are all of the tables that are output when you print a report. We're going to use the Asset Allocation table in this example because it is fairly straightforward and easy to imagine what you're thinking about. You'll see once I select that table, we're able to see some items below. These are all of the standard options that will appear in an asset allocation table. For example, the status, that is, current, recommended, or alternative at the top, the defensive subheader, the actual defensive items, cash, fixed interest, that sort of things, and defensive totals. And this, continues down with growth, assets, and with alternative assets, and with a final total at the bottom. So again, you can imagine, I'm sure you've seen an asset allocation table, how these things would line up with what you're familiar with seeing. There are a few things we can do, however, to style product recs to exactly match our SOA design. The first thing is we can change the name of the row. So by default, for example, this defensive subheader, which is the row that appears above your defensive assets, we call it defensive subheader, which is not particularly interesting. So we can change the name in this case to defensive assets. You can call that whatever you like. You can just call it defensive. Do whatever you like. If you don't wish to show certain items, for example, perhaps you don't show a defensive subheader, on the right hand side over here you can tick visible and it will untick this item, and that defensive subheader will no longer be shown in the asset allocation table. In this case, I'm going to keep it in. In the middle of the page, you'll see style. If you are not familiar with how product rec styles work, please watch the video on how to style your themes. However, this is where you assign a style to a particular row. So in this case, I've assigned it the subheader 1 style. So once you set that up in the theme styler, it will apply, that coloring, that font, that formatting to the defensive subheader row, and indeed, perhaps all the rest of the subheader rows, you can see they've all been assigned this subheader 1 style. So you can go through, you can change your names, you can include and exclude things by ticking this visible row, and you can assign different styles to each item. It's all relatively straightforward once you kind of get your head around what each of these options do. The final thing to think about is moving things around. This isn't that useful in an asset allocation table, as they are all fairly standard, but perhaps we might like to see alternatives before growth assets. If we do want to do that, simply hit the 3-line icon on the left hand side and drag it where you wish it to go. This will reorder these rows in the document that is output when you're ready to create a report for a client. This is one of the more complex areas of product recs. If you are struggling to set up your document styling or your table builder, please contact Product Rec support and we'll help you out. Thanks.